Today I thought we would walk through another paint throw rework. Here you can see I have a paint throw going on. It's mostly purples and yellows, and there's some green that kind of looks like grass, but it doesn't really stand out as a paint throw. So I'm going to go in with my thick bodied paint and paint some really thick impasto flowers. Some of the things I'm thinking about when I'm putting the flowers in is 1, the composition, 2, the colors, 3, also there might be something in this painting, the paint throw part of it, that I'm not particularly liking. It's not flowing very well, so I can always put a flower over the top of that as well. When I'm thinking about the composition of my flowers, I'm thinking about placement and how many I'm putting in. Usually I go with odd numbers. And then as far as the placement, I don't want to get things like really in a horizontal line or a vertical line or even a diagonal line. So often you're going to see more like a triangular with the flowers. You see here you have one that's down a little bit lower and then the other 2 that are apart that make a obtuse triangle there. Obtuse triangle, is that a real geometric word? I don't know. When I'm thinking about my colors, I'm always going to grab a color wheel. Even though I kind of know it in my head, I want to visualize it while I'm looking at the color wheel. So pretty much here we have a split complementary color scheme going. I've got my purple, my orange, and my greens. And the yellow fits in with the complementary with the purple as well. I also need to be thinking about the size and shapes of my flowers. I don't want to have all the same size flowers, just like I don't want to have all the same color of flowers. These little orange flowers, they're that's an orange and a pink there together, a violet type pink. You can see they have like 3 little leaves on them. They're like little budding flowers, whereas my other flowers, looks like most of them have 6 petals. Although I've got some green colors in my paint throw underneath, I want some different textures in my stems and my leaves, so I was using a squirt bottle there with some paint in it. And now I'm using my palette knife to put some little tiny leaves on those as well. We should probably talk a little bit about color intensity too. The squirt bottle had some pretty bright green, and since that was going to be thicker paint, the thicker paint and the brighter green are going to make those stems and those leaves come a little bit forward. If I use a duller color, a muted color, it's going to set back in the painting. Whites and silvers are really good to use for high intensity color. These will really pop right off of the canvas. Another thing that I use to get some different textures is a product by Folk Art. It's called Glitterific Polka Dots, and you can get it in different colors. This one here is purple, and it's got some large and smaller purple polka dots. Some of them are like holographic, and they sparkle whenever you move it around. And then the gel that it sits in is a see-through transparent purplish color. When you put this down on there and you move the painting around a bit, you can see those little polka dots, and it just gives it some really fun texture. I could have left the painting here, but that paint throw in the background was just making everything just way too busy. So I'm going in here with a deep purple and filling up some of that paint throw that I did. And this really helps set the background back into the canvas, and then it makes those impasto flowers really pop forward. And I'm going to be doing this darker on the bottom, and as I go up towards the top, it'll be more like sky, so it's going to be much lighter there. I start off the sky portion, the top 2/3 of the canvas, with a violet color, and then I'm going in with a light blue. On the upper 1/3 of the paint canvas, I'm putting on the blue really thick, and then as I go down, I'm using less paint on my brush and dry brushing over that violet. I want some of that violet to peek through It just really gives it a whole lot more dimension, and it helps the transition into what would be the ground color. You might be wondering why I did all that paint throwing just to cover it up. Well, kind of twofold. One, I didn't know that I was going to cover it up. Two, I really actually like it this way because I'm getting all that texture of the paint throw there. And then you can still see that. You can see that texture through the paint that I'm putting on top of it. I am being careful while I cut in on the flowers and the stems, but I'm not being super duper careful. I'm wanting this to really loose. Every now and then I get a little bit of that blue paint on top of one of the flowers, and I'll just go back in over the top of it and touch that flower back up. I'm also not painting over exactly everything. I did leave some little bits of glitter and just things that were interesting to my eye. Also had to have some creatures in my garden. I added a dragonfly, you can see there, and then down at the bottom you'll be able to see a little caterpillar. Let me know what you think about this painting in the comment section. What colors would you like to see the next painting? What little creatures do you want to see in the garden? If you like this, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel as well. Please enjoy a walk through my garden.